Welcome back to The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Last time we entered and beat Dodongo's cavern, and now we're going to be doing a multitude of things. I think it'll be a nice mix. We're going to be making our way toward the dungeon, doing some side questing, and having some plot. We're not actually going to get to the dungeon, but we will get to the area that the dungeon is a part of, I suppose. But first we need to have our praises sung by Darunia. I gotta say though, this dungeon in terms of story went a lot better than the last one. Before we were in the Great Deku Tree and we killed the boss and everything, and I think I did it with a lot of finesse, but the Deku Tree still died. This time Ganondorf decided to throw a huge boulder in front of the cavern and summon the Dodongos. They actually shouldn't be there, but we were able to save them. Well, save the Gorons, not the Dodongos. The Dodongos are dead. I mean, if you go back into the dungeon, there's probably still going to be the Dodongos there, but that's like separate from the story. That's not considered real Dodongos. They're fake. Now, Darunia is giving us the same title that he gives the faceless king of Hyrule, his sworn brother. I think you learned that the king of Hyrule is his sworn brother as you're talking to him when he's still angry. He'll say something like, "This is what my sworn brother, the king of Hyrule, has sent for me, some kid as a messenger." Something like that. Darunia is giving us the Goron Ruby, the second of the 3 spiritual stones, and honestly the one that I think looks the best. Especially in the 3D version. The other 2 stones, they're kind of circular, so in the Nintendo 64 version they're pretty jagged. And in the 3D version, I just don't think they look as good as this one. I think the graphical update helped out this one the most. If you read the dialogue, or the item description rather, as we were getting the Goron Ruby, it talks about how Darunia is calling us his sworn brother, and that Link doesn't really know what that means at this point. That kind of plays into, I suppose, the symbolism of this game. I don't really think as deeply about this game as I do other games, but it's nice if you see it. If you don't really lose anything, or let's assume that you don't lose anything. Darunia told us that at the top of the mountain there is a Great Fairy. Well, I think he said Great Fairy, maybe. We need bombs, and we kind of want to have the Hylian shield to get up there. Bombs to destroy these boulders here. If you don't have bombs, you can't get past here. And you kind of need to time the bomb throw here. I am, of course, not good at it, and I'm going to blame bomb flowers again, because for bomb flowers, I think it's like 8 seconds maybe, and for regular bombs it's 4. Or maybe it's less, I can't really tell, but it's shorter for regular bombs. There's a free 20 rupees there that I don't need because I'm full on rupees. And there's another boulder up here. If you listen closely, you can actually hear mooing, I think, underneath the boulder. There is a cow, and there's some rupees. If you need more milk, or if you just need hearts, there are hearts around too. So it's a nice place to refill, although I'm not going to be using it. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making my way to the top of the mountain. The Hylian shield is recommended because there are boulders flying, or falling rather, and the Hylian shield will protect you from them. I'm not sure if they do fire damage, so if you have the Kokiri shield that they'll destroy it, but I don't want to take any chances. I also just like to roll through them because you don't really take that much damage. You might have some kind of damage reduction on you while you're rolling or something like that. I don't know, but it works, and that's what I use because it's faster. There are some Skulltulas on the wall that you can snipe out with your slingshot. They're not that big of a deal. And crap, I think I said Kokiri shield. It's the Deku shield, not to be confusing, although I'm pretty sure you know what I meant when I said it. We're getting close to the top of the mountain, and up there is actually a familiar face that not too many people are fond of. Although he isn't as intrusive as before. He'll just kind of chill on the sign right there. And he's not going to talk to us, so we can just head in the wrong direction. I'm actually going into the Death Mountain crater because there's a couple of things that I can get right now that I don't feel like getting later, so I might as well. This block or box right here has a gold sculpture within it, which is nice. And there's a piece of heart that I can obtain at this point, although you're probably not supposed to. Again, with the sequence breaking and such, you want to go off of the ledge here, and as you can see, the wall is climbable. So if you just fall down, you can grab this piece of heart and make your way out of there. A cool thing is that there's a timer here, and if you let the timer go to 0, I am not sure what happens because I never have, but the reason why you can't stay in there is because it's too hot. You're in the crater of a mountain. It makes sense. Or crater, is that the right word? Maybe it is. I don't know. But if you fall down a pit, that lava is considered a pit or a pit plane or something, then you will be reset to the beginning of the area, so you can get out of there from that pit. It's essentially warping you. Bombing the wall on the left will allow us to get to the Great Fairies fountain, the Great Fairies fountain being the area where the Great Fairy resides. You need to play Zelda's Lullaby in order to get her to come out in all of her 64-bit kinda sexual glory. Not very enticing in my opinion. This is the Great Fairy of Power. This Great Fairy will grant us an upgrade to our sword technique, the sword technique being the spin attack. The spin attack is the attack where if you hold the B button, you'll charge up for a second and then you'll do a little spin. The walls of the Great Fairy area actually tell what you're getting from the Great Fairy. If the walls have blue water running down them, then that means you're going to be getting an upgrade to Link. There are other walls that signify a different thing that we'll be getting to in a little bit. Unless you abuse some glitch that I'm unaware of, this upgrade is actually mandatory, and it gives us a magic meter. The magic meter being the other thing that a big fairy fills, and it's depleted by using certain techniques, this spin attack being one of them. The Great Fairy tells us that one of her sisters, or I think she might call her a sister, it's another Great Fairy. She is near the Hyrule Castle area, like in that big field right before you get into the castle, in that area. Right now I'm going to show off what the spin attack looks like. If you hold the B button for a little bit, you'll do a blue wave. It's short, not very useful by charging. If you hold it for longer, you'll do a red wave. And if you rotate the control stick really fast and then press the B button, you'll do the smaller version, but it won't waste any magic and it comes out really fast, so it's pretty useful. The red wave does have a bigger radius of attack, but it's not as useful because you'll have to spend time charging it up before you can actually use it. And now we can talk to Gebora, and he'll actually give us a ride down the mountain, which is pretty useful because, well, first, you don't have to go down the mountain. He sends you right down to Kakariko Village. And second, there's a piece of heart that we can obtain by using him. He's going to drop us on the roof of a house that we couldn't get to before because we don't have anything that'll let us get up there. And if we drop off of the roof on the side, there's a little platform. This is right above where the cuckoo pen is. And on this platform, there's a wall with a hole in it. In this area is Impa's house. Impa no longer living here, but she still has her cow guarding a piece of heart. We need to make our way back up the mountain because there's some stuff that we've missed. First, we needed bombs to blow up this wall, but inside of it is a golden sculptula. And we also get a magic jar for the first time. It fills up a little bit of your magic meter. The gold sculptula looks like you can't really get to it, but this wall is climbable for some reason, so we actually can. And we need to make our way further up the mountain, which means, you know, rolling for a long time to get back up there, which isn't very fun. There is actually another bombable wall around here. It's closer to the Goron city. And within it is a chest with 50 rupees, but I don't really need it right now because I'm at 200 rupees. It's coming up right now. I'll stop and look at it for a second. It's right there. See. Okay. We're going to be going to the Goron city because there's gold sculptulas to be found, or one gold sculptula to be found, and an upgrade to our bomb bag. There's this giant Goron that's rolling around the 3rd floor of the Goron city, and he can be stopped with a bomb. If you do stop him with a bomb in this spot, he won't say anything because he's a jerk. What you want to do is you want to get him in a place that bomb flowers can't reach. At least I think that's what they intended. I did a little cut there because it took him another couple of rotations to get to here. There's actually a sign right there that says if you stop him that he'll give you something, but I for some reason never got the idea to stop him here. I just stop him in a bunch of random places until he gives it to me. But if you stop him in this underground area and you physically have to stop him with bombs, I don't think bomb flowers are gonna work. I mean, they will, but he'll just say, "Stand in awe of my wild, wild rolling," and then keep on rolling. He'll give you a expansion to your bomb bag and fill it up, so now we have 30 bombs, which we can use to get to another area in this Goron city. After I grabbed some needless rupees. There was an area back there that we could blow up with the bomb flowers, but it's ultimately useless. The reason you would want to go there is because there's a Goron behind it. His name is Goron, and he's pretty huge. He's bigger than the Goron that's rolling around, I think. And if you talk to him, he'll say something like, "I'm making a weapon, but it's not quite finished yet. Come back later, and I'll give it to you." It costs 200 rupees to have, and it's not a good weapon at all, so I wouldn't recommend using it. That's just a waste of 200 rupees. As for this area, we need to blow up a bunch of rocks. The silver rocks cannot explode, and we don't have a means to destroy them at this point. So we'll just have to deal with the brown ones. And it's kind of a maze. You need to know which ones to blow up, although since we just got a bunch of bombs, I could just blow all of them up if I so desired. But I pretty much know the path. I don't know why I blew that one up, because this is the last spot. In those 2 treasure chests is rupees, I think 50 rupees in each one, so a total of 100. And in that box was another gold skulltula, which is pretty good because we're actually getting close to the next milestone of gold skulltulas. It'll be 20. We're actually going to be getting the prize for attaining 20 gold skulltulas in this part, like near the end. But it's a bit of a ways away, and we have other stuff to do. For example, right now we're going to be going toward Hyrule Castle again in pursuit of the Great Fairy that's near there. Ta-da! Warped like magic. I am not going to be climbing the vines. There's a different way to do it. If you talk to this guard near the gate, he basically functions similarly to the one that's near the gate at Kakariko. But instead of handing him a letter, you give him 10 rupees for him to open the gate once. If you talk to him again, you get everyone's favorite reference from The Legend of Zelda. It's a secret to everybody, although not quite the same way. Keep it a secret from everyone. In the original Legend of Zelda, there were enemies called moblins, I believe, that would hide underground or beneath bushes or in random areas, really. It's hard to tell where they are. But if you found them, they'd say, "Keep it a secret to everybody," or "It's a secret to everybody," rather. And they'd give you a bunch of rupees to keep your mouth shut, I suppose. We're in the second kind of Great Fairy area. This time it has purple water or reddish water flowing down the walls. And we're introduced to a different kind of Great Fairy, the Great Fairy of Magic. This Great Fairy instead grants us a magic spell, which is basically an item that wastes magic. Well, not really wastes, you're actually going to do a magic spell once you use it, but it's not very useful, so it might as well be a waste. It's required to beat the game, I just don't use it for anything but beating the game. This magic that we're going to get is based off of the goddess of power, Din, and is called Din's Fire. Hello there, Kapora Gabora. This is the worst spot to see him, because I try to skip his dialogue here, and it does not work, for one thing. And the second thing is, unless you make it to the end of this area, he's going to keep reappearing. So, say you make it to the end, but you forget something or you want to do something else and you try to make your way back, you're gonna have to talk to him again. And you can't skip his dialogue, so it's gonna take up more time. Rolling into this tree here gives us a gold skulltula. I'm gonna cut some grass because I need some more rupees. There's gonna be a shop-ish type thing ahead. I'm not gonna be leaving Hyrule Castle in a very orthodox way. Normally you could just keep walking forward and go through that gate. Well, not through the gate. There's a door next to the gate, and in that area there's a little ladder that you can climb to get to the top of that arch, but I'm just gonna get caught to show it off. That guy is not nice. I gave you money. You were supposed to help. Anyway, Din's Fire takes up quite a bit of magic, so you wouldn't spam it, but I don't see a reason to spam it in the first place because it's not very effective. There are some enemies called Tektites. They were the enemies that we saw climbing up the mountain. There's the red variant that we saw and the blue variant that come later. They take more damage, but if you try to use Din's Fire on them, I'm pretty sure they're immune. I did some testing with like the 3D version to see if that would work, like see what the damage values for weapons were, and Din's Fire I don't think did anything to them. This right here is the Bombchu Bowling Alley. It's a minigame area that has random prizes every time you play the game. It could be bombs, Bombchus, a piece of heart, a bigger bomb bag, or rupees. The bigger bomb bag and the piece of heart are what I'm going for. Bombchus I don't really need, and rupees I don't really need either. And regular bombs I definitely won't need if I get the bigger bomb bag because that'll fill up my bombs. Bombchus are like remote controlled bombs that aren't actually remote controlled. You set them down and they'll go in a kind of straight line. They zigzag a lot. And if they touch a wall or something like that, they'll climb up it or on the side of it. It's pretty sporadic. I haven't gotten down which way they'll go unless it's in a wall that's right in front of you. You can make them run up the side of a wall. If I were to say go at like a 45-degree angle from the floor to this wall on the left, it would run up the side of the wall and then onto the ceiling and such. But I don't like doing that because it feels inaccurate to me. As the minigame progresses, it'll get harder. First, there's just a little spiky thing that moves back and forth, which it's easy to get past because it has a set path. The cuckoos, on the other hand, are horrible. The regular cuckoo moves around sporadically all over the place, and the big cuckoo moves around sporadically in a small space, which means it's very in the way. This time I'm going to be getting a piece of heart, and look at that, I won, hooray, give me the piece of heart. The minigame can't be played unless you have bombs. If you come here without bombs, the girl will say something like, "We're not open yet, come back later." Which makes sense. I mean, they're not going to let you have the bomb bag before you have bombs from, the dungeon that you're supposed to get them from. I don't want that prize, let's change it. Bomb bag. Okay. Another thing that's kind of, I think it might be just in 3D version because that's the only one that I've glitched out of Kokiri Forest early in. But if you play the slingshot minigame before technically owning the slingshot, you'll still be able to play the game and you'll still have the slingshot. It won't give it to you after the game is over, but you'll be able to use it solely for the purposes of the game. And if you do use it, and you beat the game, then you'll get the Deku Seed bullet bag, which lets you carry 40 seeds, but you don't have the slingshot yet. If you do end up going back to the Kokiri Forest and beating the dungeon, getting the slingshot and everything, you'll lose that bullet bag. It'll go back down to 30 after being 40 for no reason because you didn't have a slingshot at that point. But there's only 2 bags in the game. If you replay the minigame with the slingshot, you won't get another bag. You'll just get like rupees or something. So your max can only be 40 after that. But that's considering glitches. We're not doing a very glitchy run of the game. We're just going kind of straight through. I want to show off this part because it's going to be nighttime and the stall kids come out at nighttime. this kind of has to do with the effect of the bunny hood. Apparently, as I've read, it'll stop stall children from coming up while you're at night. The thing is, they kind of don't come up a lot anyway. I'm not sure if I'm on some sort of invisible, differently programmed area, or that it's actually the bunny hood, but I walk around and none appear. If I take the bunny hood off, however, I'm still going to walk around and still none are going to appear. I guess it might just be this area or something. I don't know, but we need to go this way to make our way to the next main area of the game. And I am just messing up my words a bunch this part. I called the stall children stall kids. Stall children are the tiny skeletons that we see running around. Stall kids are what we see in the Lost Woods. So what Navi says is what happens to kids when they get lost there. Hello there, Kapora Gabora. This is the worst spot to see him, because I try to skip his dialogue here and it does not work, for one thing. And the second thing is, unless you make it to the end of this area, he's gonna keep reappearing. So say you make it to the end, but you forget something or you want to do something else and you try to make your way back, you're gonna have to talk to him again. And you can't skip his dialogue, so it's gonna take up more time. Rolling into this tree here gives us a gold skulltula. I'm going to cut some grass because I need some more rupees. There's going to be a shop-ish type thing ahead, and I'm going to need a lot of rupees in order to buy stuff from there. We needed bombs to get past here, so you can't get to here without setting foot in the Didongo's cavern. I mean, you could enter, take the bombs, and then leave, but I don't like doing that, because as soon as I set foot in a dungeon, I want to finish it, unless I physically can't because I don't have the item required to do so or something like that. And this guy sells magic beans. He says that they aren't popular, but as you buy them, they, in air quotes, grow in popularity, and thus they cost more. The first one costs 10 rupees, the second one costs 20, and it keeps adding 10 for every one that you buy. The last one will be 100 rupees, there are only 10 in the game, but you don't need all 10. For example, when we were back at Death Mountain, I showed that trick where you backflip off of where the bomb flower is to get to a heart piece. That heart piece is actually obtained via a magic bean normally, but I decided not to do that so I don't waste money and magic beans. You don't need all 10 in order to get all the heart pieces in the game, although the game probably wants you to think that. This cuckoo is going to be integral to what we're doing next because there are some heart pieces lying around that we want to obtain. For example, this one here, and I missed. I guess this is as good a time as any to show that there are rupees in the Zora River. And as you go down it, you collect more. There was a 20 right there. And this is a very good thing because I want rupees so I could buy another magic bean from that guy. Now I have 41 and that's just enough to get the next magic bean. Kapora's back! I'm gonna buy the fourth one now. And the cuckoo came back, which is good because I still need him to do more stuff. I'm gonna get this heart piece first, and getting it will not complete a new heart container, damn it. Whatever. Every heart piece is one heart piece closer to more health. We need the cuckoo to get some more stuff. Not really to progress. I think this is as far as you need to go with the cuckoo in order to get to where the Zoras reside, the next race that we're going to be meeting. And the way the cuckoo moves here is not good for me because it keeps running away and such. In order to use the cuckoo in the next part, or in the next area of this area, you need to throw him up there. I kind of don't want him to run away, so I'm trying to maneuver myself so that he runs away from me in a certain direction. And for the most part, I think I did okay, but now he's just gonna fall into the water and go along with the flow of the river. And, oh my god. At least they respawn, so I can just come back here and get another cuckoo. Or the same cuckoo. that just flew to where he was before. The next item that we're going to get with him is a piece of heart. Another piece of heart. This one you don't require the cuckoo to get. Actually, the first one you didn't require the cuckoo to get. You could use the next dungeon item in order to obtain it. But I think this is the faster way to do it. And also, it's immediate. I can do it now. If you stand on that log over there, there are some frogs that appear underneath the water. If you play Ocarina songs for them, they'll come up above the water and they'll give you rupees depending on which song is played. So I currently have 4 songs, and that's not enough to finish that minigame because there's 5 frogs, and you need 6 songs actually to get everything from them. The first 5 songs, they'll just give you 50 rupees each, I believe. And for the last song, you'll get to play a minigame for a piece of heart. But we're not getting that piece of heart for quite some time because I'm getting this piece of heart and we don't have enough songs. Cuckoo, your services are no longer required. There's a gold skulltula around here, but it's the morning and it won't appear, so I need to make it nighttime. It'll appear on the ladder that's right below there. So after this, all you have to do is jump right down, aim your slingshot at it, or maybe do a jump attack if you have enough precision, and you'll be able to collect it really easily. This is the end of this area. The next area is actually Zora's domain, and in order to get to it, we need to jump through this waterfall here, but the only way you can split it is by standing on the panel in front of it and playing Zelda's Lullaby. I'm not going to do that right now because I am dumb and I want to collect my reward for my 20 Skulltulas, but Kapoor is going to come back, and now we're at the Skulltula house. Since I didn't go through the waterfall, I'm going to see Kapoor again, but the reward for 20 is the Shard of Agony, which looks like a rumble pack. If you're using a controller that has rumble features, when you're near a secret, it will rumble, and you'll be able to bomb the area. And now we're finally going to be going into Zora's domain in the next part of Ocarina of Time.